How do I meet my soulmate? How do I move on from heartbreak? Does my dream relationship even exist? Are dating apps the only way I can meet people? Are all relationships this hard? This is Between the Sheets with Dr. Love. Each week, your host dives into sex, love, dating, relationships, and everything in between. Welcome to Between the Sheets with Dr. Love.
Hey, everyone. It's me, Dr. Love, and welcome to another episode of Between the Sheets with me, Dr. Love. Today, we are starting with a truth that a lot of people do not want to hear because it completely ruins our fantasy of relationships. And that is that there is no perfectly secure relationship. There is no relationship where nobody gets triggered, nobody misses the mark, nobody gets hurt, nobody feels unseen, or nobody pulls back, or nobody has a bad day and nobody says the wrong thing at the wrong time. That relationship just does not exist. And if that is the standard you are measuring love by, you are going to keep calling normal human moments red flags. And you are going to keep sabotaging good relationships because they failed this fantasy instead of your value system. So let's tell the truth here. A healthy relationship does not mean pain-free. A healthy relationship does not mean perfect or attuned every second. A healthy relationship does not mean that your partner always knows what you need without you saying it. A healthy relationship does not mean sex is always connected, easy, alive, or emotionally perfect. Real love is two imperfect human beings with their own childhood and their own nervous system and their own wounds, their own fears and their own blind spots, trying to stay open while being triggered by closeness. And that is what real love is. And what makes a relationship more secure is not the absence of pain, but it's the presence of repair. And that is the whole relationship game. Can you come back from conflict? Can you say, that hurt me? Are you able to say, I missed what you meant there? Can you say, I don't think you meant that the way it landed, but it really hurt? Can you stay in the room long enough to understand each other instead of turning conflict into punishment? Because that is what secure love looks like in the real world. It's not that we never rupture. It is we know how to return. And I think a lot of people have never actually seen that modeled. They saw conflict become silence. They saw pain become punishment, and they saw hurt become withdrawal. They saw tension become this emotional exile. And they saw adults stop talking and shutting down and lashing out and leaving the room and using the cold shoulder or sleeping in separate rooms or acting like flatmates and holding resentment as a normal. So now as an adult, the second something feels off, the nervous system starts to panic. You feel brushed off, you feel ignored, and you feel disconnected during sex. You feel like your partner was distracted when you needed them most, or you feel like you've opened your heart and they just changed the subject. And instantly this fear rises. Does this mean I did something wrong? Does this mean they don't love me? Does this mean we're broken, that this can't work? Does this mean that I'm not important to them? No, that's not the case. Maybe it just means that your partner had a bad day. Maybe it means that they missed you and are feeling like they need some extra attention. Maybe it just means that you're both human. Maybe it means they do love you, but they don't yet know how to stay emotionally available under stress. And maybe it means that you have some repair work to do. And that's very different to a relationship being doomed. Now, let me get clear. I'm not talking about repeated disrespect. I'm not talking about contempt. I'm not talking about cruelty or chronic neglect, betrayal, coercion, emotional abuse, manipulation, or someone who refuses responsibility every single time. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the normal painful moments that happen when two nervous systems collide. Because if you expect a healthy relationship to never trigger anything in you, you are going to be in for a rude shock. Intimate relationships reveal you. They reveal what is healed. They reveal what is raw. They reveal what still gets activated when you are dismissed, unwanted, unchosen, not prioritized, or emotionally alone. That does not mean the relationship is bad. It means intimacy has touched something real in that relationship. And mature love asks something of us in those moments. It asks, can you stay soft without collapsing? Can you stay and speak without exploding? Can you be honest without making your partner the villain of the whole life story? Can you hold your hurt without turning it into shame, blame, or an emotional theater? Because secure love is not dramatic, it's brave. And brave love sounds like this: hey, I need to talk to you about something. When that happened earlier, I felt dismissed. I know you may not have meant it like that, but that's how it landed for me. Can we go back and maybe try that again? That is secure energy, not because it's polished, but because it's honest. Secure love is not pretending you're fine. Secure love is not smiling through the resentment. Secure love is not shutting down for 2 days and waiting for your partner to read your aura or your mind or get the feeling that something's off. Secure love is not punishing someone because you felt hurt by what they did. Secure love is saying, I'm hurt, but I'm here. I'm upset, but I want to understand. I need repair, not distance. And that is grown up love. So if you grew up around emotional inconsistency, it can feel deeply unnatural for that to happen. Some people learned that conflict equals abandonment. So the second tension enters the room, their system goes straight into survival. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Some people start chasing, some people start shutting down, some people go cold, some people get sharp with their tongue. Some people start rehearsing their exit speech halfway through a difficult conversation. It's like something else is happening in here while something's happening out here. And that is what happens when you have not learned to repair in relationships. You think the rupture is the end, but it isn't. The relationship is often built in what happens after the miss or the rupture. That is where trust grows. That is where intimacy deepens. That is where your partner learns your inner world, where you stop expecting perfection and start valuing responsiveness. Because let me tell you something, responsiveness is sexy. Responsibility is sexy. Repair is sexy. Someone who can say, you're right, I miss that. Come here, let's talk about that. I don't want to leave you alone in that feeling. That is mature love. That is foreplay. And if you've spent years chasing intensity, mature love initially can feel boring. But what it really is, it feels calm. There's a difference. A lot of people that are addicted to activation think that love must be electric, consuming, dramatic, intoxicating. But often what they're calling chemistry is just an old pattern, a familiar pattern of nervous system reactivation. Real security can almost feel suspiciously quiet for those people. There is less guessing, less performing, less mind reading, and less punishment. There's less emotional whiplash. And for a person who learned that love is something you have to fight for, calm can feel a little bit empty at first. But calm is where trust grows. Calm is where your body learns it does not have to brace all the time. Calm is where real intimacy actually has room to breathe. Now, if you are that person that constantly panics every time there is a miss or a rupture in your relationship, or when your partner gets it wrong and you turn that into this global statement about your worth, if they missed your emotional cue, it does not automatically mean you are unloved. If you felt disconnected during sex, it does not automatically mean the relationship is dead. Sometimes it just means you need to have a conversation. Sometimes it means you need to just slow down a minute. It might mean there's some emotional residue sitting between you and your body is telling you something. Sometimes it means that you both need to learn how to come towards each other a little better rather than turning away. That is what more secure love looks like. It's not perfect. It's just more conscious. It's more responsive. It's more accountable, more open, and more willing. This lends itself to a really cool and powerful conversation because people throw away relationships far too quickly. They either stay in deeply unhealthy ones because they confuse the chaos with passion, or they leave healthy ones because they cannot tolerate the imperfection. But both are a trauma response. They're just wearing different outfits. So if you're in a relationship right now and you are asking, is this secure? I would probably ask a different question. Ask yourself, do we repair? Do we have the capacity to repair? Do we return after conflict? Can we talk about what hurts without everything turning into a war? Can we stay connected during conflict? Or at least find our way back afterwards? Does the person I'm with care about my inner world? Do they get curious and lean in when I'm trying to open up? Do they take responsibility when they've missed the mark? Can I tell the truth in this relationship? Can I be vulnerable and honest? Can they? So this is the real test. The question is not, am I in a secure relationship? It's all of those questions that then create a secure relationship. So it's not whether there are hard moments. There will always be hard moments. There should be hard moments. That's intimacy. That's real life. That is two nervous systems learning each other in real time. The question is whether the relationship has the capacity to metabolize those moments, to become stronger because of them. And you know what else? You also have to be honest about your side of the relationship. It's not always looking on what they're able to do. Are you repairable? And when I say repairable, do you put your hand up to say, how do I repair this? Can you stay when hurt enters the room? How do you regulate? Are you able to hear feedback without collapsing into this shame or launching into defense because you hear it as criticism? Can you speak clearly before resentment starts to harden you? And can you ask for what you need without making it a test? Because a secure relationship is not something one person gives the other. It is something two people co-create. And that is the work. And honestly, it's really beautiful work. Yes, it can be hard. Yes, it can be vulnerable and uncomfortable at times, but still beautiful. There's something deeply healing about having hard moments with somebody and discovering the relationship did not die, that you could both stay, that the truth of how you were feeling or how things landed did not destroy your love, that conflict did not erase the connection, that being hurt did not mean being abandoned. That is how the body learns that safety can be created even though there's conflict. It's not through fantasy, it's through repetition, it's through repair. It's through those moments of we got wobbly then, but we still came back. So there is no perfectly secure relationship. There is only more secure, more honest, more open, and more self-aware, more accountable, more responsive, more willing to repair than last time, or how we were last year, or how we were in the moment before. And that, in my opinion, is far more beautiful than just having perfection. Firstly, perfection does not exist apart from the fantasy you've created, but it's sterile. Repair is intimate. So if you are struggling in your relationship to work out whether this is secure or not, I think you need to go back to those questions. Do you expect perfection, or are you learning to repair? If this episode landed for you, I want you to sit with those questions. or maybe it could even help a friend. Once you're able to answer those questions, it will tell you a lot about the kind of love you're actually available for. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Leave a comment, and I will see you on the next episode. This is Dr. Love.
Thanks for listening to the podcast with Dr. Love. For all show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, head to www.drlove.com. That's DRLURVE.com. Got a question for Dr. Love? Email her at ask@dr.love.com. Love the show? Remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a review or share it with your friends. Thanks for listening, lovers. We'll see you on the next episode. This is Between the Sheets with Dr. Love.